So I went ahead and I looked a little bit around on the internet to see what characters people were hoping to be in this game. So I curated a list of characters as well as some details that could follow for them if they are in the game. So that being said, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, and let's hop into this video. Starting at number 1, we have Haribel, the Tres Espada. Now, as far as prominent fights in the series, she fought against Toshiro, Lisa, and Hiyori. Her sword is known as Tiburon, Spanish for shark. Haribel has several abilities. In her base form, she has a move called Ola Azul. In her Resurrección, she has the wide Seto, Trident, Haverndo, which could work as a counter of sorts. Lagunta, Cascada. Haribel could also incorporate her Fracción in her moveset, similar to Neliel, who was just recently revealed. Overall, Haribel has a plethora that can be utilized if put in the game. Then at 9, we have Grimmjow Jaggerjack, the Sexte Espada. His most prominent fight is him versus Ichigo. His sword, Pantera, Spanish for panther. Grimmjow has a couple of abilities. He has the base Seto, Grand Rey Seto, while in Resurrección, he has Descaron and Gara de la Pantera. Grimmjow could also have a similar mechanic like Ukiyoda, in which he sacrifices some of his health via Grand Rey Seto, except he won't have an ability to recover his health. He would be more of a double-edged sword character than Ukiyoda is in the game. Then at number 8, we have Stark, the Primero Espada. His most prominent fight is him versus Sunsui. He also scuffled with Love in Rojiro. Stark's sword has no name. He has an ability known as Los Lobos, Spanish for the wolves. Stark's abilities are within his subordinate Lilinet Gingerbuck. Stark in base uses Seto, while in his Resurrección he has several abilities. Seto Metraleta. This move could work with a reload function similar to Soifon's Ankin. Cole Milo could also work as a counter stance as he has the 2 blades, and Wolfpack Generation could be one of the key cone moves. Looking at number 7, this is probably going to be the most creative moveset if this character is, of course, in the game, and that's Dangai Ichigo. Now, Dangai Ichigo is essentially Ichigo's strongest point at this point in the story. Zangetsu has partially merged with his right hand, Tenza Zangetsu to be exact, and Ichigo has one named ability, and it's Mugetsu. In Soul Resurrection, they gave him a dash attack and changed his Gexiga Tensho to these powerful slashes, and he has the air cuts that he does when he fought against Byakuya, but this version. Could we see Ichigo attack in speed being set to a 5? And maybe his durability being high too? Perhaps his awakening could be him going into the final Gexiga Tensho form itself, and then he uses Mugetsu. Perhaps he can have a function similar to Renji, where should too much time goes on, he gets kicked out of the form and he pretty much loses all his abilities, or maybe he goes into the form and until he uses Mugetsu, he still functions, but once he uses Mugetsu, his power is severely limited. Now, if they do it similar to how it is in, say, Soul Resurrection, then his health would be drastically dropped and he could still fight, but he pretty much would be on the urge of defeat if not careful. Then at number 6, we have Shinji. Shinji was the previous captain of Squad 5. He's a visored member. His sword, Sakanade, Japanese for counter stroke. His most prominent fights are him versus Ichigo, him versus Grimmjow, him versus Sasuke Aizen. Shinji's abilities would center around his Shikai ability. He would also make use of his Hollow Mask. Shinji is a bit tricky as he would require more creativity in his moveset. He doesn't feature any prominent Hados or anything, aside from making use of the Hollow Powers with the Seto, and him also fighting against Aizen. Then at number 5, we have Yamamoto, head captain of the 13 Court Guard squads. His most prominent fights are against Sunsui and Ukitake, Sasuke Aizen, Wonderweiss. His blade is Ryujin Jaka, which means flowing blade like flame, known for having the greatest offensive power. Off of that means that he'll probably have the highest attack in the game, probably higher than Kenpachi. If Kenpachi's not already set at a 5, this guy's going to be set at a 5. Now, we see some abilities for him. He uses Tamatsu, Jokako, Injo, and Inetsu Jikoku. And we see other abilities such as Hitso Sumi, Nadagiri, Inobu, Ikotsu, Sokotsu. Yamamoto could make use of his Hado number 96 Itokaso as a Kiko move. This seems more like a sacrifice kind of move, might be worked a bit different. At number 4, we have Sunsui, captain of Squad 8. Name of his blade is Katen Kyokatsu, and it means bones of heavenly blooming madness. His most prominent fights are Sunsui versus Stark, and if you count the scruffle he had versus Chad. Sunsui has several moves via his Shikai he could use. Ushugoma, Taka Koni, both moves Sunsui makes use of in Bleach Soul Resurrection. Sunsui could have special conditions with each of these moves, and maybe some other moves that we didn't go over. Sunsui could be the most complex character due to the nature of his Zanpakuto and how it works, and the children's games and the other things that he employed when he fought against Stark. Then at number 3, we have Mayuri. Mayuri's most prominent fights include Uryu, Salya La Horo. Mayuri has too many tools and abilities in his arsenal to go over. I will admit, he likely is going to be a skill-based character. He may not have the highest durability, but skills he's going to excel at. His blade is Ashisogi Jizu, which means leg cutting. Mayuri's skill stats, like I said, would likely set him to a 5 for skills, and then in terms of reach, probably pretty high. At number 2, we have Sosuke Aizen, leader of the Rancars and previous captain of Squad 5. Name of blade is Kyokusugetsu, meaning mirror flower. Aizen's most prominent fights in the series include Toshido, Aizen vs Ichigo in Soul Society and Renji, Aizen vs everyone in Fate Katakura Town, Aizen vs Yamamoto in Fate Katakura Town, Aizen vs Kisuke Ishin in Yoruichi in Katakura Town, Aizen vs Ichigo, and then Aizen vs Ichigo or Dangai Ichigo. Aizen is capable of most Hados in the series and has several things in his arsenal. Aizen in most games makes use of Kyokusugetsu, Hado number 90, and Hado number 63, Raikoho. And it's likely they'll probably end up doing this here. If we look at J-Stars or Jump Force as an example, he has these 3 things in his arsenal when he fights. And then at number 1, we have Zangetsu, particularly the Hollow. Zangetsu was implied to be playable in the first trailer, however, he is still a desired character. Zangetsu has the same abilities as Ichigo, except he uses them much differently. We could see these several moves that he has utilized in the series when he has fought, and in theory, Zangetsu could have multiple forms like Ichigo, as we've seen Hollow Ichigo with the Bankai, we've seen him with the Vasto Lorde form, which again is the full extent of that hollow mask. We seen him in the merged form with Old Man Zangetsu. Only time will tell, and we also have to remember at this part in the story, Ichigo looked at the hollow side of him as simply his hollow version, and Zangetsu as Old Man Zangetsu. So when I say Zangetsu here, I'm talking about Hollow Ichigo. But that's gonna be the 10 most wanted characters for Bleach Rebirth of Souls. If all these characters get in the game, that would be sweet. If most of them get in it, that would be sweet. And if none of them get in, well, that would be terrible. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. I'm Akai San. What yo? And I'll catch you guys in the next video.